Indeed. Well, Colin, how's the screensaver going? Is it going? I guess it's going. Ah, I don't understand why Discord just doesn't want to post a message when I press enter. Like, these two servers that I have that are at the bottom of the list are always so slow. I'm guessing it's some sort of like throttling or something where you can't really post messages as fast. But it makes no sense. It makes no sense. So yeah. Anyways, I hope your week was good, Stony. I hope the day is fine. Oh, sorry, Discord is being Discord right now and it just doesn't work, which is amazing. Screensaver is good. Good. I don't know about the central piece that you have. I feel like um I mean if I'm right and that section, god damn, that's the wrong button. That section right here is the screensaver thing, right? I don't know about this. I feel like you could, if that's available, get the poster version to get something that is more mobile friendly in the view compared to the backdrop version, horizontal version. I feel like that might be a bit more adapted and adequate for the medium, the format, the devices, and so on. But then there is like a technicality um with yeah, but you still have it, so you know. Which, if you have like the screensaver on the phone and you make it because you need to have it for the TV version, TV would need to be the horizontal thing and phone would be like the vertical thing. So um you know, but yeah, if there is no screensaver on the phone, all good. Nothing to complain about. I mean, many things to complain about as always, but like nothing to complain about. That's fine. That's an okay thing if that is for um, TV. There are stuff that depends. um, the depends is this your TV is here, right? Like that's roughly that is a TV. Uh, aspect ratio, my ass. And so if you have the poster, whatever, somewhere around here, right? And that's the space it takes and so on. That's fine. Like that doesn't really bother me much. If you start making it this small, I feel like that's kind of waste of space. So I would make it precise in a way. I'm guessing you already have that in place. The thing that I have a bit of a potential maybe might need to change, I don't know, is this right here. You have your logo in the corner, um, and I don't know if this is the best logo in the corner placement. This goes into psychology and other things, so I don't know if that makes a lot of sense here. But in terms of subconscious reading of content, you end up with this, with the logo in the top left instead of the bottom right. This means, or you have this on your server. By the way, it's coming from No Mercy. And here is No Mercy has the ability to play this thing that is on your server. It's subconscious, so most people will not think as much as I just did to figure that out, but it still happens. In the order at which things are seen, sometimes you want your name to be first, and sometimes you want your name to be last. So that's an on you thing. You decide what you want, but I don't know. I just know that this placement right here is the current placement for YouTube, for example, at the bottom of the screen, in the bottom right. So that makes sense. And this doesn't really exist. This is where people are usually looking for a back button. So, just based on that, there might be something to change in their placements, but it's not much. So it's not that important. But it could be something if you wanted to do some changes or if you wanted to have your brand first in the head of people, then that's the thing. The other thing that we say in psychology is that the last thing in a conversation is the thing that you remember. So that is one of the reasons why YouTube is placing the sub-level channel badge thing in the bottom right, sorry. It's because, oh, that's the video by that person, and not that person is making that video, and that video is the thing that stays in your head. Small details, small things, but potentially important depending on what you want to do and what you want to achieve, but nonetheless, like, it doesn't change much. It doesn't change much. But yeah, no, good to have this at least. Um, good to have this. The blur gradient, by the way, I mean, we talked about it last time, and I kind of explained it. I didn't. But the way that I have done it here is by having the entirety of the gradient itself just being blurred after the fact and not prior to. So that might be an option. But I also feel like, for you, it doesn't really matter based on what it is. So, yeah. Also, I don't think this is the one, but I don't think it's not. I feel like the font itself, specifically because that font has a secondary version that I don't have access to because I'm currently using the demo version. I feel like this is good. I think it's a nice font. I feel like their print version is really good and might be the one that I use. The other one that I have is low, and I don't think that's gonna work. And so that is like closer to what I said last time, where Americans, I'm sorry, do not know how to read scripts, and so that is what they need. Not script, but like cursive. That's basically what they need to make it make more sense. So I'm debating having something that is similar to this. The version that is good-ish from that font that I'm looking at, in the way that they have it, what I mean, in the way that they have it in their secondary option is like this. So you have your regular script and cursive that I'm currently using as a demo version, but I don't have access to this, which is a bit of a mix in between the two. This is what they call print. I feel like this is pretty good. The only issue that I have with it is the price. It's $22 for regular license, as in having it on my desktop, but having it on in an app, it's 220. So right now I don't have the funds to be able to just get that. But it has like a lot of very cool details and stylistic changes, as in the T's and so on, to make them like more natural and organic. So I do feel like this is pretty good, but I need a check. I need a lot more checks before I can make sure, like, oh yeah, this is the font that's gonna happen. Jeroen, hi, welcome on in. How are you? How's the day going? So yeah, that's a thing. I do like the output. Like it looks pretty good. It makes sense. It is a tad complex to read at times. So uh, yeah. Eh. I mean, I would appreciate it, but also I mean, you don't need to. Appreciate it nonetheless. How was the stream? So yeah, that's a current things, right? Uh, I do. I mean, I kind of changed, but like 4:20 is the current time. As I said, I was debating starting at 11:30 in the morning. I've been debating that for the past few months, but it might happen next year. It might happen yes next year. I don't know. I don't know. I think the growth that we saw when I was in Japan, where basically I was starting extremely early for Europe, um, was good. Like it was a good thing for growth. It was a good thing for audiences and so on. So that could re-happen next year, after the break in December. I don't know, but yeah, have a good grocery shopping run. Um, so yeah, it might happen. I don't know. We'll see. Nonetheless, nonetheless, this is where I currently stand in the font. I've been doing a lot of search and I don't have much. That's the issue. Like most of the fonts that I have are either not available, like this would be really good, but also it would be absolutely unreadable for a lot of people. So I don't think this is a good idea. This one I like it, but it also feels kind of fake. There's something about it that feels forced compared to regular script. And some of the reason for this is the what we call the ligatures, the link in between the letters. If you see the E and R have a bit of an issue, the C and R have a bit of an issue. Guess what? The R has a bit of an issue. So there is that to take into consideration when you are looking for a font. I love this, but that's a personal thing. This is not practical in any way. So that would not happen. And this is low. This is the other one that I tried and have, but it's too blunt. It's missing some life. It's interesting, but it's missing some life. Typ public what kommer Yeah, that it's the consistency of the issues that like it breaks on the R's. Like it's just if there is an R, it breaks. When you are writing by hand, you will probably specifically going for from this letter to this letter, like the link is supposed to be so smooth. If you are writing script and like overall cursive, so that's the reason. Uh, I love this one. I talked about it before. I wish I could find it. I can't find it. It's been created specifically for a restaurant. I think it's an Italian restaurant that or a French restaurant that is using this font for the titles. And I wish I could have it. I can't have it, which is kind of sad. Um, but I mean, I get it. It's really good. It outputs well, but that's about it. The other one that I have are uh, not great for again for scripts, and some of the others that I'm seeing, like these shit, are natural handwriting and not necessarily handwriting that are available as fonts. Uh, this looks like something that could be available as a font, but it doesn't. When you click on visit the site, you end up on something that just doesn't give you any fucking information about the font in question. So, yeah. Um, yeah. So there is like a lot. of fonts that are kind of similar to what you're describing, not exactly uh, as blunt, but that would be really interesting. As always, the goal is to get like the best font for some sort of a journaling um, experience. So you want the fonts to be kind of good, looking like it's the same all the times, but you want some disparity here and there so that it looks handwritten. Again, like if you look at this one, for example, which is not necessarily something that is uh, a font, but like someone that writes, consider the good. I'm back. I'm back. Cool. So yeah, they have like some teeny tiny stylistic changes on the A's here and there, but that's like the natural thing, natural stuff that happen. So we should be good with all of that. Um, but yeah, like that's kind of hard to find a font that does this without being too weird. And I like this one a lot, but also it's the same situation where you end up with something that is just too unpractical for most people. Again, Americans, not that it matters that Americans can't read, but like, uh, yeah, I was frozen for a second and then came back. Don't worry about it. It's the beginning of the stream. After the first 20 minutes, the stream is freezing for some fucking reason, and I don't know. And then it comes back. And when that happens at the beginning of the stream, we have 3 other breaks during the streams. Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, specifically, that's not necessarily something that would happen. Um, if I'm just using this as a reference for presentation, right? The writing, depending on the person, obviously, it's person to person. I get it. But depending on the person, the writing that would be here might not necessarily be something that is good enough to reflect any thing on the user, right? Because most people, or me at least, at a minimum, I don't really write stuff as a long paragraph of explaining my point of view and so on. I just write my thoughts really, really quickly and then be done with it. If I get into, if I get into, I should just search. Search is a good option. Right there, not you. You. If I go into here, which is one of my biggest paragraph added, um, like maybe that could export something as a, you know, a sentiment on the user side. I don't know. But then if you look at the others, I just have Woody, nose blind, and then a big ass paragraph just to see. I mean, technically, this is for testing purposes to make sure that I have like a font that matches, and if the user decided to write a lot, it could work. But again, that font seems too small and too big at the same time. Like there is something missing, and I don't like it. So we'll see. But most of the others is like just you know, I don't think you can extract anything. I don't think, yeah, I don't think anything could be extracted from that. And again, I think someone asked the same thing before. I wouldn't be using AI for this because it makes no sense to me, based on the fact that we have um, the uh, uh, we have that system, the neural language or natural language processing system that is based on the on, like writings and so on. So there is no need for an AI for this. It's just not as good as generative AI in general, but also it's built in since iOS 12. So, you know, like it's lightweight and so on, but also it has a lot of issues. The main thing that I have issues with this specific is it takes everything. Like I need to make exception all the time in order to make it work. As in, right here, the word end of day, the word mostly cloudy, the the date would be included by default, and then I can't really take the parameters inside of the system. Like it wouldn't necessarily work. So that's really complex and it's a bit annoying. So yeah, it also takes like the acquisition section. So when I tried to put it in place, I had if it's first entry, don't take it into consideration. If it's title, don't take it into consideration. If it's weather related, don't take it into consideration. Make sure that if the user mention specific words, it goes into specific categories. But when you do that, you end up with so many ifs and so many variations and properties that need to be taken into account when you are reading with natural uh, language processing model. At the end of the day, it doesn't really benefit you, so I decided to not have it. But yeah, even an AI generative model wouldn't necessarily be positive or negative, um, like any difference. That's what I'm saying. The other one that we have is the foundation model that is supposed to be right about here. That's the same thing. That's the Apple on device generative model, but it's also like not good, not as good. And I wouldn't really trust it as much based on the fact that this is something that is like iOS 26 first, or iOS 20, or iOS 18 first introduction, and iOS 26 second version, and it's still not good, so it wouldn't bring anything. I wouldn't trust that. I would trust this. Potentially, the machine learning model has been here for a longer period of time. Not as integrated as the rest, but it is a bit better for understanding things. So it might work, but we'll see. But that would help for what you're saying. Not that it is something that I plan on having anyways. It's also like a by device situation, which is annoying. The natural language processing system that is since iOS 12 means that every single iOS devices that exist right now that have like recent-ish OS and software have it and will run with it probably well. For this to be working and be a core part of the app and the experience from a user point of view, you basically need devices that have the capacities to do this without like overheating and so on. So you end up with a very small slot of something. So people that are on the probably 13 Pro, 14 Pro, and then 15 and up would be good. But any one that is like on the 12 or on the 13 mini or something might have some issues. So that is a lot to take into consideration, as always. But Eh, eh, still, I really want to achieve something that is like as natural as possible, but also I need to find a font that is as natural as possible. And right now, this one looks really good. Um, it looks like it's like really nice for what it's supposed to do. There is enough space in between the letters. It's readable. It has the warmth. It's just 220 bucks. If I want to make it into an app, if I just want to lie and say, yeah, that's a for me situation. It's just for my desktop, and that's it. I can and get it for 20 bucks. I can also get it for like 19 bucks right now. But I don't know. I don't know. It feels okay. It feels like something that I wouldn't necessarily do. Cat, hi, we'll call it. Good day. Did you stream today, or did you stop the long ass stream yesterday? Was that the plan? I forgot. I know you ended the stream yesterday, but I don't know if you continued because you still had time, technically speaking. I have a feeling that you would have not stopped, uh, like, if you kept the timer going up. Just a feeling. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, you'd have paid your bills, all of them. Probably. Um, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, um, I do think like this would be a very good candidate for me right now to get it. So yeah, congrats. Flying back again, as if, as if that was like necessary to say again. You're flying every time. Um, but yeah, that's I do like this one mainly because it also has the accentuation version. It's kind of sad that it doesn't have more, as in Cyrillic and uh, German character might not be in there necessarily. So, knowing the fact that perfume is uh, like, good job, uh, like specific. And the perfume is very specific in Germany, and there is a lot of people that are in my comment section on TikTok that are from Germany and that are like basically asking, will this come to like German languages and so on? And I don't know. There is a need for translation at some point for sure, but it's also like kind of complex. So, you know, um, yeah, that happens. I wouldn't say me too, but me too. Me neither. Uh, I kind of gave up, to be honest. I mean, I gave up like a year ago, so it doesn't really change anything. But goddamn. The good thing is I have stuff here and there, like every 5 months, I get something that comes in and just drops a little bit in my account, and that's enough for me to sustain myself for the next 5 months. And then on the fifth month, I'm like, God damn, I need something. But yeah, that it happens. It happens. It's fine. Um, yeah, that's the it's the benefit of me not being social, not getting out, like no friend around me, no date. That's good. But yeah, again, like the fact that I blew most of my savings when I was living in Japan is because I was doing all the social stuff, getting out and so on. You go out as in you have friends over, even if it's not your friends, housemates, friends. You were going out more than me. Um, you've been to bars, you've been to restaurants, you've had dates. Maybe not in the past 3 months, but you've had before. So you do. Again, more than me is not that complicated. It's not that complicated. So yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. Um, so yeah, so that's where we are. We have small details when it comes to the extraction section. I'm still not sure about it. It is better than before, but it's not great. It's missing something. The size of the bottle is pissing me off, but I don't have a choice. And the placement of the bottle is also pissing me off, but I don't have a choice either. So yeah, this is cool. It's randomized, so every time you click it, it basically just randomizes the thing. And the floral and woody thing is because it's just like they are the exact same values. So it cycles through whichever. So sometimes, you'd be able to extract in citrus. Sometimes you'd be able to extract that in floral. Eh. Um, so yeah, that's a good thing. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that something here, the top note, heart note, and base note, could potentially be vertically placed in some situations, but not in all situations. So that's something. And then the reason why I said I need to have the bottle at this size is because when you have a bottle like this one, for example, it you can't really place it next to the chart itself. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't really work right here if I want to keep the angle and the thing. So, yeah, the whole system is kind of annoying me. And again, like this one specifically is the example that I have. That's a lot of white space. That, that's a lot of white space. So, right here, there is a very much more easier way to have like them side by side. But yeah, um, yeah, I get that. Also, for the previous message, I'm expensive and you know that. So, yes, it makes sense. It makes sense that you spend more money when you're here than when you're somewhere else doing whatever. Sorry. My bad. That's on me. Uh, but yeah, no, I mean, going freelance is a good thing. Oh, I would recommend it to anyone that has the willpower to look for clients and or have the willpower to look for an agency that looks for clients for you and just take a cut. Because I've tried and it's just so hard for my brain to allow me to sell myself that I would rather do something and then let it live. Hence, uh, shit like this, that just exist, and I'm not marketing it, and I should be marketing it. But yeah, so that's like one of the complex situation. My sister friends boyfriend agency. Basically, he introduced his girlfriend, sister friend to an agency as a concept, and then she moved to another one. She found another one, and now she's, you know, like signing contracts and being booked all the time because obviously her like price rate is so high for the amount of, I mean, the quality of thing that she has. So that makes sense. The issue that I have for me is that these agencies are usually for illustrators, graphic designers, but not like UI and digital stuff. Or if it's digital, it's like advertisement, and that's not my stuff. So I haven't found a single talent agency thing that would place or find jobs for freelancers in UI UX. So that's kind of sad. But yeah, it would be good. It would help. It just, uh, I'm also like, again, it's the motivation is not there. Also, I just noticed that I once again forget my meds. Got it. One day I will not forget. One day I will not forget, but I forgot again. It's a good thing that I remember. I guess just like 1 hour late, so we good. But God dang. Yeah, the motivation right now to work on stuff needs to be um no, it's at 4. At 3:30 is my usual thing. I mean, that's when I started to do it. The reason for 3:30 is that if I start at 3:30 or if I take it to 3:30, it takes roughly an hour and a half, 2 hours to kicks in, which is the length of the stream. But because streaming is energizing for me, when it kicks in and it does its job, I usually, depending on the day, I usually have enough energy to just combat it and not be just slow and dead. So that's a good thing. For the past two stream, for example, I forgot that I needed to take it, and I took it like on stream at roughly 5, and the stream went an hour longer just because it doesn't kill me as much. So yay, but also not good for timing. Um, Again, I have split the dosage. So I was supposed to take one pill. I mean, you will know everything. The cardiologist said if your blood pressure is above 12 after starting the medicine, you can take two a day, but make sure that it doesn't go too low. That's good. I never did that. It was at 12-ish most of the time, so I took that, but then it went back to 10-ish, which is really low for what it is. And so I asked her, she said, you can take half of what you're currently taking. So now I'm taking half of the fucking pill. And it's fine, but I'm still waking up at like 10.5, which is low. Like really, really low for what it is. Blood pressure is not supposed to be like at that level. But then again, it happens. And Red Bull's small cans was basically making my blood pressure going lower. And the C4 are making it go up to like 14, which is the regular rate for like a brisk walk outside. Like that makes sense. So by doing nothing and having an energy drink kind of works. It also means that my body kind of readjusted to not having anything caffeine and taurine combined. So that's good. But yeah, anyways, nonetheless. Um, so yeah, going freelance is a good idea. I do think, again, based on your location, and I know you don't want to do that, but based on your location and the paperwork and the fact that you need to do the paperwork in French, sorry, I get it. I understand, I get it, but it might be a good thing. And as I said, if you want or if you can, like sell yourself or at least advertise your skills and stuff as much as you can, then freelancing is a good option. For many things, you can charge basically what you want, and based on your outputs, you should be good. Um, so yeah, I could recommend it. It just yeah, you might want to move to specific countries that don't have taxations, but I also feel like you would be in a panic all the time if you had to move often, if you became like a digital nomad situation thing, where you stay up to 6 months in any country that you are staying in, like 5 months here, 5 months there, 3 months there, like that type of shit. Um, but eh, you know, um, Stony, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. I think CSS might be for you, but yeah, yeah, that's the issue. You need stability, which is like, eh. I don't have like, again, I tried, and then I'm a bit of a hoarder, but not really, but kinda, um, eh, kinda. So I tried to minimalistic my wardrobes and my stuff. But then if I just want to have like a portable stream, because that was the idea in the first place, I need so much stuff that is heavy that requires outlets to be like um you know um properly giving me power and so on. So that is like way too complex to have as a digital nomad. And the only option that I had in my head when I was doing that for between Japan and France was, well, because I'm planning on living half and half, like basically 6 months out of the year being in Japan and 6 months out of the year being here, I just duplicate my stuff. So a secondary camera there, secondary light, secondary computer, everything like basically just doubled, which is fine. It's feasible. I did it, but now it's there and I can't go back. So, goddamn. Uh, I mean, I can go back, but I can't go back. I have like, yeah. So you can have pets, uh, if they are like indoors, I guess. Hamsters, small ones, tiny things, you know, could work. But yeah. Um, you want to blur part of an image, just one part of an image, and you don't want to use an SVG filter. I think an SVG filter would be pretty good for Android, Stony. Could work. Could work. But I don't know. I don't think that would work for what it is specifically because it needs to be on demand, kinda. Uh, you could probably blur it on server and then upload the blurred version, which is probably what needs to happen. So if you did something like this, for example, let's say you needed to have this with a blur just at the bottom, right? Part of the image. So if you said, like right now, obviously in Figma and in iOS, I have stuff for layer blurs using this as a progressive blur right here that I can have, like, a good blur at the bottom, not blur at the top. That's good. That's okay. That's fine. That's whatever. What you could, um, what you could do is you get yourself a second image and you blur that, as in you just add, uh, God damn it, you just add a layer blur and the amount of blur that you need. So let's say you have a blur of 100. That's way too much, but like that's your blurred thing. And then from there, if it needs to be like a specific part of that blurred thing, you just make it have a mask behind it. So if that's a mask right there, and I'm just placing it here, giving it like a very classical transparency trick, that used as a mask for these two things together. So, you know, just like this, it's going to blur the top. That's fine. But overall, that's not necessarily what you want to have. So that's the thing. I don't know exactly what image you want. Good job, Kate. At least you remembered. Congrats. Are you talking about the bottom section? That thing? The progressive blur? Is that the goal? I think that is. Um, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. God damn it. I guess that could work. I guess that could work. If you simply have that with a mask on top of the image. But then again, as always, if you just want to do it yourself, knowing that the code is around here and you can just take a look at it, you might be able to figure it out. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't understand what you're talking about by feathering the blur or color. It basically is. Where? This one is this the thing that you're talking about? Nox, what calling? How are you? How's the day going? If that's your goal right now, and you use the thing that I just showcased, right? I'm gonna show you how I would do it if I had to do it with haze, which we just saw a second ago. It just means that the entirety here of this element is using the haze overlay thing for blurring the background, right? So this with haze is a blurring block of content. So that effect is just it has whatever it has, which is the black background blur, at a specific amount of density, whatever, right? That's the goal. Once I have this, what I would do is have behind it a CSS mask or PNG transparency mask things inside of Android because I know that that's a thing. Again, I don't know shit, but I kind of do at times. And then just have a transition section going from 0% at the top and 100% at the bottom, right? Of the same color or whatever. It doesn't really fucking matter. It's the same shit. And then these two together, I'm just going to make sure that the other one underneath is the mask in question. So it's supposed to go through. And because of the opacity, it should go through with different values based on the opacity. But if you don't want to do that, again, I think progressive blur is the best option and might be an option. Might be an option, but this thing for haze is just like not necessarily a good option. I feel like dynamic background blur is not. I feel like I've seen this. I think I read this thing before. But yeah, you might want to check some of these things. But you know, the transition is not as easy. I know. I know. Eh, eh. I don't know if that's good or bad. Just yeah, that's a React component, so that is not gonna work. But that's what we want though. Again, if you can implement the thing in CSS, as you said, through Compose, why not? Why not just do that? Why not just use the CSS version implementation and be done with it? I mean, based on what I remember, and it's probably outdated data because brain is brain, but Android was basically taking the view, blurring it, like processing the blur, and then basically masking it to the zone in question. And so that's why, or that's what Haze is doing based on what we read a second ago. Um, so, hmm, yeah, I don't know. It does have a progressive blur option. Ah. um, so that might work. The only option or the only issue that I'm seeing with this um, is this is probably something that is uh, like not gonna work on lower hand situation where it's basically just well, not gonna work. You're gonna need some devices that have like Android 14, maybe 13 and up, and currently you are aiming for 10 and up, so there might be some issues here and there um, to be checked, but yeah. But you know, that's basically what I did. Um, I really like the fact that the linear, the ease-in, and the ease-in cubic or cubic don't really change much in how they are. Um, so visually, like the difference is such a small thing, and we don't really know where the start is, anyways. So it's kind of hard to just judge on this. But yeah, um, if that's the case, that's pretty cool. That's from 2024. So, eh, eh, try it out. Try it out. Might be good. It might be good. We never know. But I get it. I give you something that is not necessarily good. Specifically here, we have the blur banding in order to have like the transition, which doesn't work. But I get it. I get it. You might get better outputs than this. Hmm. I'm also really scared about the um, device specific implementation of availability. Goddamn. As in, I know that some devices do not have great blur processing in terms of Android. So, for example, my Xiaomi's are good, but I know that the Oppo had some issues, the Find 5 had some issues, and then after that, when they moved to ColorOS 14, 13, I forgot, it was better because they have implemented like a lot of blur inside of their system. Like a lot of these things are really much Apple-like, and they have achieved such a. Why is there so much cats on everything just for the action button? That makes no sense. Um, but yeah, the fact that they are duplicating and copying Apple for everything that they are doing in terms of UI and so on basically implies that the output is going to be good enough to recreate stuff. So, you know, like that's a good thing to know. But yeah, layout tablets the same way. Basically, it's the same. It's just like I mean, tablet in portrait mode is the same. It's just bigger. Like everything is going to be bigger. Tablets in landscape might be interesting to have the format like in a more interesting, I don't know, something. But eh, You could reuse the desktop version in terms of the layout if you have the willpower to do so. Um, yeah, this phone looks amazing, by the way. The latest Oppo phone is really good, and I'm sad about it. That thing is so good. It looks great. It looks very Apple-y mixed with Android. So they have like a ton of really cool thing. They have copied a ton of liquid glass related stuff for obvious reasons. And it's neat. But again, current state of things is blurred enough, good enough to process blur properly. So you end up with something that is really good specifically for the use case in question. Other devices, I don't know how the Poco phones are behaving. I don't remember Sony UI being like very blur oriented. As far as I remember, it was mostly solid, but it's been a while, so I don't know. Samsung One UI is okay, but it's also like really bad. So you may have some issues here and there. But then again, Haze seems really good and technically speaking, probably implemented properly. So yeah. So yeah, for me, tablet is gonna be the exact same thing here. If you go into like landscape, it's just like a matter of having more values on the horizontal for this, so that makes sense. These are kind of fine, kind of. Like you could use like a floating menu if that's an option. Instead. But you already have most of the layouts that you need in your responsive version of the desktop version. So I'd be good with that. I'd be good with that. I guess this one is the only one that needs a different layout, because if you just scale it up to make it tablet mode, it's not going to be so good. So I get that. And I would go with this instead for the tablet as well. Like I would reuse the basic thing. Why are you broken? What happened? God dang. Something happened. It's fine though. It's fine. Why are you so tiny? My bad. I think I did that here. I said that for the tablet version. I think that's what I did. And mobile can just basically scale up, but not too much. That was the idea. But that's the base mobile version for the test. I mean, for the web version. So yeah, tablet is basically the same thing as desktop. There's a lot of things that we haven't touched when it comes to like the behaviors. So each and every one of these buttons that currently have no labels and have labels on hover, because that's what makes sense, on mobile and on tablet, because you don't really have a hover unless you have a mouse plugged to it. We kind of need the titles, we kind of need the labels, so they would take a lot more space. which is not great, but you know, still needs to happen. That's basically why I said on these things you want the buttons to be like making sense with text, and then if you have stuff that are known and recognized, then you can just remove the labels. But yeah, the thing that we have currently in streaming ish, database related, the one that I'm using is this one. It's good, but it's not like as good as I wanted it to be. It has simplicity. Like it basically used a very simple UI with no real actions other than you add it to your collection of you want to see, you have seen. That's it. Um, then you have all of the other options, all of the other information underneath, and the related stuff, which are never related. The first one is related sometimes, but then after that, it's just like absolutely unrelated. So it's wild. Other than that, it's a very, very simple UI, which makes sense and kind of works, but it also kind of doesn't. So, like you can't watch things as said. You can just mark things as watched because it's a TV tracker, um, or TV show tracker. So, eh, you know, the usual. But yeah, we can't really change that. But what you have, again, since the beginning of me using B-roll, which is the YAM that I just showcased, I've seen 3 other people on Twitter and on threads talking about the fact that they want to build like a TV show tracker thing. So there is a lot of people right now that are entering the streaming tracking space. So there will be a lot of things. What is that button right there? Why is it like hated? But yeah. I mean, yeah. I wish I could, to be honest. Um, I wish I could just use things, read stuff, understand, and so on. I cannot. So, you know, that's it is by default. I mean, not by default, but like progressive gradient blur is an option that we didn't see a second ago. And yeah, haze progressive seems to be the base, but again, I don't understand shit. So you can do a progressive and radial gradient. God damn, that's cool. That's not something that I can do in Figma. I wish I could. I cannot. God damn. I'm sad. Um, yeah, I really wish I could just go in Android Studio and try to implement it, but I cannot. Eh. No, I was about to say I have gravity or anti-gravity that I haven't installed. I haven't tried it out yet, so I don't know. But yeah, huh, interesting. I would technically need it, to be honest, at the bottom of the view. So my tab bar view should have that specific thing when it comes to creating the blurred background underneath the tab bar is supposed to happen. So did I do it? No, that's the question. Cybersect, hi, what going in? Do I have no battery left? I probably do. No, I didn't. I tried to do the background blur things, progressive blur in the past, but it didn't work because I didn't know shit and I didn't look for shit like I just did. We could try. We could try. Uh, However, I do not know how to create a dependency in the slightest. Uh, that is not something that I have done in Android at all. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Gemini thing here would be any help. I don't like it inside of Android Studio, and I don't like Android Studio on its own, so we just do that. Um, if Shirley, hi, we're calling. Um, how are you? How's the day going? How's everything? Do I think? Hmm. Yeah. I don't know if I want to kill that. That's the thing. Also, I don't want to use credit for no fucking reason, so let's do that instead. So, let's. Why is that different than the usual? Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm not following what you say for that. I'm just looking at shit. God damn. Every time. Every time. I mean, that makes sense. You know, that's how things are supposed to happen. But god damn. Oh. Um. 1 second. I think I didn't. I think I didn't transfer the code from Android Studio on this Mac. So I don't have it. I can't test it out. Congrats on the 7. That's pretty good. yeah, I don't. Uh, I know I can just pull the fucking thing, but I don't have it. I don't have it right there. So let me see. Let me see. Oh, goddamn. That makes no sense as well. I know you can't see my screen, but it's fine. It has never made any sense to me. The wording in dev world is such a bad thing. The difference between like cloning a repo and creating a new one, it just doesn't make any sense. So, god damn, that's heavy. Cool. Um, Not there. There. Also, yes, I started a new project today. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's okay. Everything is fine. Um, that's the thing. I don't really remember. The reason why I'm taking a look at anti-gravity right now is because I know that it is currently set to free. So you have limits um, in the day-to-day activities, but you can still go through everything. And I'm really impressed by the fact that Google is allowing you to use other models in the IDE compared to what you're used to. So that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, but that is also like not working. I tried that. It's just broken every time. Um, so I doubt. I doubt so much. Mm, does ad work? Um, ah, wrong keys. Um, Also, you have a bit of a hint of how I work right there. So it doesn't really make any sense, but it's the easiest thing that I found, at least from my point of view. It's really bad and it's not supposed to happen. But I just copy paste the entire doc directly in the chat and and present it and see if it works. And sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I'm guessing because this is like the first run of the entirety of the project, it's going to take a while and it's probably never gonna do the things properly, you know? Um, but yeah, that doesn't cost any credits. That's the thing. With Cursor, you don't have any credits per length of message. You can have your longest message ever, um, but it just doesn't, you know, cost credits. The tokens are per questions and per queries. So if it goes through at least from my point of view. If it goes through a questions, it costs 2 tokens by ask from what cursor is telling me. And then from there, it's simply just adding um, stuff to the context, but that's it. So, because it's a request-based system, not a token-based system, that's basically what I'm saying. Um, like some agents, some modes are taking or counting for 2 requests at a time, and others are not. So, yeah. I do remember that from what people have been saying. Hmm. Yeah, see, that is the free thing. That's so sad. Um, that is kind of sad. It did. See, it did have dependency. Um, but yet it would need more stuff. That's also really bad to change model in the middle. That's just, um, not a good idea for consistency and for other sake as well. That's never going to be a good thing. Never going to be a good thing. Hmm. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. That should run at the same time. I should have that in anti-gravity as a preview and stuff, but also, isn't it annoying? Um, mm, yeah, that's also a thing. We hate that because this computer has been resetted. We don't have Java installed, so everything is probably broken. It's never gonna work. That is never gonna work. We'll see. But yeah, other than that, other than this thing, which seems to be really good based on the documentations and the thing that we have displayed in there, um, I don't see what other options you have to potentially get that transition blur thing. And based on the doc, it seems to work. So I would say it works, but I don't know. I don't know. God damn it. I hate running these things. Makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. If, again, if this is too complex and you can't achieve this, which is fine, it happens, Um, just make it black. I know, but simply just remove the procedural blur and get your container right here to have a linear fill that goes from, um, I don't know, maybe 10% or something, or 0% to 100 with a good-ish transition so that it's just working, and that way you would be good. Best option would be to have multiple stops, with a stop at the center being roughly at like 60%, and then a stop at the bottom to be at like 100%, so that you have a proper transition. And like, these points make sense, but like, that's the only option we have in a system that makes sense, because it's not the greatest contrast ratio ever, but it is enough contrast ratio to see the title and the genre and the thing. And that works. So if you can't have the overall thing done with the progressive blur of haze, then use that instead. That's the wrong thing. A very simple base transition could be good. Could be good. Um, I don't really understand what you mean by the background under it. That's the thing. Like, if you put it inside of a container, it should. But then again, you know, I haven't read this entire thing, and I don't know if you have. Probably did. Um, yeah, that's also that is also true. Also, I don't know why this fucking website is not in dark mode. It's a dev stuff. It's supposed to be in dark mode. And it's Android 13 plus. I was right. I was right. Though it kind of works. It kind of works. And it has some samples. So hmm, hmm. I think you should be good, to be honest. I think you should be good with all that. But I don't know. I need to test it out. I need, like, as always, I don't like to do the coding, which I don't do on stream. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me um, to do there. So, yeah, can't do that live. Something's broken with it. Oh, yeah, that much better. So yeah, going back to this thing, I don't know. Kind of, I kind of like the ID. I feel like the law is a bit of a better option right now for readability's sake, which means that I can have this thing at like 18 instead of 20 or 22 for the font sizes, which is much better. Um, and it might work. It might work. It feels wrong. As I said, it feels lifeless compared to the previous one. And I think that's probably the case. I think the reason why it feels lifeless to me is because the content that is around it is flat-ish design slash vector-based design. So it's not as organic as the rest. And I wouldn't want to have the other parts of the design being using like the same font because it makes no sense. The user wouldn't plan and write the fact that it's 20 degrees and partly cloudy or the date. But, um, you know, sorry, force of habit on this one. So yeah, I don't know. The thing that I have is potentially having um, this instead. Huh? Sorry. I really don't understand how this is happening every time. Um, every time. That's not the same word. It's fine though. Yeah, that feels wrong. That feels wrong. Um, I guess it's the icons as well because we're using the regular star icons. I feel like having Doodle's icon would be a better option. So I could reuse Atomic. Atomic is a very good font for that, specifically for their creation of glyphs. Some of the glyphs that are in there. Not this one specifically. I wish we had like the full presentation because it is good and we have it. I paid for it, so we do have it. But yeah. Um, Dang. So these things would feel more natural, at least for me, to have like the star at the bottom instead of something. Not necessarily because it matches better with what we have in the app and the design itself doesn't really match. But if I had, or if I created something that is similar to these glyphs, is these glyphs, we would be better. I think we would be better than the very, very strained and bland stars that we have here. So that might be a thing that change. Um, it also goes back to the thing that I said before, which is the current state of these entries doesn't match with me. There is something missing, and I don't really know if I want to go with the thing that is currently extremely popular and that people are doing all the time, which let's go to J. As always, it's easy. So current thing is, or current trend. I don't know if Jay has done it, but yeah, current trend is this. So this is a pretty option. It works. I mean, it could work for specifically a journaling section, right? You could have like your journal and then you can swap the page. But there is something missing about this specifically in terms of how it looks, and it needs to be free hands and not necessarily like how it currently look. So that is the situation. I don't know exactly if that's a feasible thing for me to achieve, but we'll see. That's not centered. Um, Nonetheless, this is the current trend, so I don't know if that's gonna happen at some point. I need a pee. 1 second. So yeah, I don't know. I tried I tried to redesign the card in Figma for a split second and I gave up. It was easier to do that inside of the code, I know. But yeah, that book section, which everyone is doing right now, is the potential. Um, like it is one of the potential thing that I can go for the journaling section, but it's more complex than I expected to be for the output of the app itself. So I don't know. I don't know right there. Also, these fonts, like some of the issues that I have with these fonts, is the fact that it doesn't really, uh, how can I say that? Work. It doesn't really change anything, and it doesn't work with the character spacing. We end up with length of text that is twice as long or sometimes more. And so it's not it's not good. It's not good. And this is boring. Like that would be my main issue. Like this is oh goddamn. This is just bad. So yeah, I don't know. I think what I said a second ago is that here I should use primary instead with that so that it's more visible than the rest. I'm gonna keep that for now to make sure that that's an option, but I really don't like the fonts. I'm gonna keep them here as well, and that's also a thing to police as well as the same system, not necessarily having something that is based on the user writing and selecting a font for them, but mostly having the ability to let the user select what they want to have as a presentation for their own journal is a pretty good option. But that would be something that happens on the first journaling entries, right? It just loads, and then the user could pick one of the fonts that is available, and then they're done with it. You know, that's a good thing. I like the concept of customization, but it goes back to the same simplest of concept. I know. Um, Basically, when you have customization in your app, you are telling the user that you are not expert enough in this thing that you are presenting. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, and it's the Apple philosophy of we know what you want better than you, compared to the Android philosophy of we don't really know what you want, so we give you all the options. Both are debatable. Not necessarily good, but not necessarily bad either. And so you end up with eh, potentials here and there when it to me it feels better if the app knows and I don't need to customize stuff. The only customization that I'm giving you is potentially the color theme, but not on this one, like on other apps, or the dark mode and light mode, which is a system related thing. But having the font seems like a pretty good option, but it needs to change here. And we'll see. At some point it will at some point it will happen. I just need to find and figure out which fonts exactly needs to be implemented because it needs to be some sort of a journal based or for journaling font. At least that's what I have. And in the typist or type heist section, they are doing this one, which is kind of new. It's also it's missing something, but it's good. So it's nice enough, it's clean enough to be like simple and recognizable and readable easily. It has all of the glyphs that I need to have to at least have like Spanish, French, Italian, um, and German kind of at times. But it's also like too clean. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of issues with these. Like that BR is looking as if it was two capitalized letters next to each other, next to the I. So that just doesn't make sense. The T for some reason is fine, the S isn't. But yeah, and that looks like a B and not a D. But when you're looking at what you have there, the infused is making a lot of sense. So I don't know. We've said that before and we'll say that every time. Finding a font and defining the fonts that you want to have in your project is, from a designer point of view, probably the most time consuming thing. You just go through your entire collection every time and yeah, hope for the best. Yeah, the fact that it has uppercase and lowercase and it doesn't like combine like it used to or should do, that's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. But that lowercase is good. So I don't know. Still debating. Still debating. We'll figure it out. Probably. I don't know. I doubt it. It depends on the day. So yeah. As a reminder also, because it's been like 2 hours, I think. Today's a review day, so if you have anything to review, please feel free to share a link in chat. You're welcome to do so. And yeah. I don't I don't think I like that much. Still. I like the view itself, but it's still missing something. And the fact that I'm testing it on iPhone 13 mini is right there, and place stuff to match and fit with this, with that specific bottle, which is the only temporary bottle that I have, it feels out of place. So I don't know. Also, each of these, based on how I've made them, each of these are going to be different. So if I have the perfume and I have a Pro Max, for example, whichever Pro Max it is, but if I have a Pro Max and you have a regular, but we have the same perfume, that view specifically is going to adapt to your screen. So it's never going to be exactly the same. So that is something that, you know, is important, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. I also wanted to load with the background color, so I don't know if that's an easy win. I guess it kind of is. It's just go through if it's just decide to do so. But yeah, that way you have at least the first version right there. That's true. Sorry, I'm seeing things. Right now what I'm seeing is that the bottle itself has a sticker effect, but it's not as big as I expected it to be. So we might need to change that. To get a better sticker. And 4 is not enough, so I 10 seems like a lot. Also, sometimes it does this, and I don't understand why that happens. Um, well, 6 it is then. God dang. That's a better sticker. That makes more sense to me. And we're still using sticker, so it has the long, very strong shadow. I could just use sticker instead. So it's a shorter shadow, shorter drop shadow, and it's really on the zone, which I think is fine, but it's not great. It has some issues with the edges. Like that's where I'm looking at things, and it just doesn't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me, or it doesn't work as well. So I'm just gonna take the longer drop shadow. It's gonna be fine. Easier to use. Hmm. Hmm. I got mail. I got things far away, yeah? Yeah, that's an option. I mean, I don't think it blurs anything. Right here, I don't see any blurring happening. It's probably because that specific image doesn't help. Um, but why are you so far away? Sorry. Come back. Okay. One of the things that you should do, can do, might want to do at some point is the use of stripes. Stripes are going to be really useful for you to define if something works or not when it comes to applying effect like a blur. So if you go through like Unsplash or something to get a stripe layout like this one or something like this, the easiest one is the most vertical black and white stripes options. Like shit like this would be really good, but like something like this would work. So if you have like a poster that has this, um, it will really help to know if the blur does exist and does what it's supposed to do. Because if it's not the case, it's not gonna work. You know, that's the thing. You're gonna end up here with just the overlay in question that I talked about earlier. Right? If you just have that, you can see that the blur is not happening. And then if you have your background blur, then it kind of makes sense. And you can combine both. Um, I can kind of see what you're talking about by the checkerboard pattern. And it does amplify the pixelization up to here, because we can see the line. But that was a big ass transition. Um, but yeah. Right now it's taking the poster color, right? That's the dominant color that is taken in the background and then posted on top or placed on top. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the thing pop. But yeah, it doesn't blur shit. It's interesting. Again, I wish I could. I wish I understood. I don't. But um, let me get into this view, for example. My day of the week. Uh, that is supposed to be there. God damn, sorry, that took a while for me to read things at this size. The variable blur is a modifier that I have. Again, Swift UIs are different. But yeah, that whole thing is basically what haze is for you, but with something that works. um, so yeah, I think you can combine. Like there is nothing that stops you to have uh, the dominant color of the thing as a first gradient, and then your black on top. Like that's not something that is bad to have. Like you can 100% do that, combine both, and you have a mix of something that is on theme for the thing in question and still get accessibility for what it's supposed to do. But you need to make sure that that transition and the thing that needs to happen in there are like kind of, on point and so on. So that's an option. Like him, hi, what going in? um, Again, like there is so many options, so many things that you can do for all of that. I would go for the blurred version because obviously I like it. Um, That's just the color and the blur. That's just the black and the blur. Um, that's both. No, that's just the color and the black. No, that's both and the blur, and that's both without the blur. God damn. Small details. Again, I don't necessarily see the much difference. I see the fact that the black version is a bit better based on readability with the blur is pretty good. Making that without the blur is going to be really bad. Like, it's the same thing, but it's not as good. So, you know, congrats. Congrats on 3. It's pretty neat. Don't worry about it. Everything is fine. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. You saw nothing. You saw nothing. By the time you pressed enter, I was back. I don't know. I don't like this though. I feel like it's missing something. I am kinda. I'm tired. Um, I feel like the medicine that I'm taking is not doing anything, but also I don't want to cut it short. Like I need to go through at least the entire first 3 months. So we'll see. We will see. Yeah, something is not working for me on this with the pure blank, the way that you have it implemented. Um, it's working. Like that's the thing, right? Um, and I understand that the blurred section might be an issue. Um, I think I said that 2 years ago, and I'm gonna say that again. If you remove the title, you don't need the background. If you just keep the buttons and nothing else, right? These effects are not necessarily a thing that is needed on top. You can keep like some sort of an overlay of the initial color, but you don't need the title and things, and therefore you don't need the blur. The main reason for this is that, as stated prior, usually, not every time, but usually, the title is somewhere on the poster and it is very visible. The one that you have right here is a bit of a stretch, but if you remove the title itself, you can still see, or you would be able to see the title of the movie right there. So there might be some issues when the title of the movie in the poster is not in a language that you understand, or it's not the title that you know. But I get it. So, you know, simplifications and so on. If you just have a button for watch now and a button for details, it goes through. And yeah, like yeah, I'm okay, but not great. That's a lot of usual things. It is a lot of usual things. I don't know. Something's happening and I don't like it. And I'm looking for fonts and I can't find it. So that is where we are. Looking for a font that is like a script slash handwritten kinda font. But I need a font that is readable by Americans, and Americans do not understand cursive 99% of the time because they write like this or like this, which is a mix of weird cursive. I don't know. Um, so yeah, all day. Not the greatest. Not the greatest. And I haven't found like something that just yes, 100% for sure. I'm gonna use that. Like that's too clean. And that's clean, but that's not the vibe. So yeah. That's kind of bad. That's kind of bad. And then heart related, I I'm fine. It just hurts at time. It's okay. And brain related, I'm fine. I don't know why, but my brain is telling me that I need to go get an MRI before my appointment next week. But I can't find the prescription for the MRI. So that means that I don't need the MRI. Um, because I have no paper about it. And if I do, which could happen. It would be fun. Um, I I don't know. She doesn't really reply fast. I mean, let's be honest. She doesn't reply, and I'm seeing her next week. So, eh, eh. If I go there and I had to get an MRI, it's fine. It's okay. Everything is fine. Um, so yeah, like last time, I have my blood test that I need to send her every time, right? That's the regular things. Every 3 months, I'm sending her the results of the blood test. And 3 months ago, I sent it in, and then roughly a week and a half, 2 weeks later, she replied with, um, "Everything looks fine. The labo sent me the result already," meaning that she had received them, and therefore there was no need for me to send them, but I still am required to send them. So it's wild. It's wild. Um, no, not the previous times. That's the thing. Like first of all, Um, I don't remember when I had my previous one because the previous one was for something else, and I don't know. In any cases, right? In any cases and any chances, I wouldn't be able to get through an MRI before my appointment now. Like that's not a thing. It wouldn't be a thing because French wouldn't be able to give me an appointment in like 3 days. So and specifically like that guy that is usually the guy that is taking care of the MRI is there only on Thursdays, and my appointment is on Thursdays, so it wouldn't match even if I was to be squeezed in between stuff. So, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna get in and say everything is fine. It's gonna be a very short appointment. Again, the thing that is pissing me off is that I looked for the paper on my stack of medical related papers. Not in there. No prescription whatsoever, meaning that I didn't have one, which is kind of wild. Or maybe I can't read. Probable, but no. The only one that I had were the prescription from May, I think, in May. So, eh. Yeah, still can't find anything. No, not that. The thing that I've seen as well is that, um, what do you mean? What do you mean? That's not the first letter. When I go into fonts, the scripts, which are like the usual things for handwritten stuff, doesn't really look natural. Like script is what we used to have, but handwritten and script are basically the same thing. Sometimes So we end up with differences that I don't like. Um, it's because you used it too much, Ken. That's the reason. That is the reason. Wah. And then again, most of the thing that I'm seeing for handwritten fonts are extremely signature, like when you need to sign worthy documents and stuff. Like it's a very script over the top situations most of the time. So yeah. No. No. Um I've tried that before. Nah. As I said, I've made fonts before. I've made one for one of my colleagues because she wanted to have like specific annotation in the presentation that she was making, and so we made one. I just had her to write letter like lines of A's, lines of B's, and so on until it reached like all the letters in all the formats and specifics when she wanted to have like ligatures and so on. But I don't think it would. I don't think it would. It sounds like something that is very sharp with a bit of roundness on the edges. So we would end up with something like Bobasno or something. Not a good option. Not a good option. God damn. Yeah. Mm. Also, my handwriting is not good, to be honest. Um, not good enough. And most importantly, um, most importantly, I don't have the funds to create the font. Like, Glyph is the best tool, right? And if I want to have everything, it's $300, not in the cards. If I want the mini version, which is cool, it's $50. But then you are missing some of the things that are really useful in the full versions. Obviously, that's on purpose. So, um, yeah, that's sad. Uh, like that? Goddamn. Oh, oh, goddamn. I'm dying already. As said, right, Cat? It's been 2 hours, medicine is taking on, and now I'm just dying. That's crazy. So yeah, that's not in the cards. Like I wouldn't be able to do that and create a font for me. It is like it's so efficient, and basically what happens, and I kind of explained that the first time, but my blood pressure being so high for so long, not really, but kinda, um, the entirety of my body is used to a very specific amount of blood going everywhere in all extremities. And then with the medicine, it's not. So the whole body needs to just slow down, and I'm just tired all the time. And yeah, I wanted to, like, the food is also really draining. So I end up being extremely tired after lunch. So watching a movie after lunch is good, but that's it. Like nothing else. Nothing else is an option. So yeah, do we have the ability to get more? No, I forgot. None of these fonts are good so far. I'm so sad about it. Like Pretty Letters is nice, but it wouldn't be good for a long period of text. Um, and most of the font that I'm seeing so far are just they're great for slight, small elements on the graphic design poster slash cards, but not for text. Like not for long text. So yeah. Kina, hi, welcome on in. What do you mean I should review jmail.world? That's crazy, Osvo. That's interesting. Is it crazy? Oh, god damn. I could have typed it. What is this? Oh, I see. That's good. That's pretty good. That's pretty neat. I mean, they did good. The UI is nice. I mean, the copy is neat. The settings don't work, obviously. Um, but yeah, that's the one in question. Um, have fun. Can't have fun, do they? That's the one that pisses me off the most because people have been talking about that and that alone. Like that blew up, pun intended. And is it a person? Is it a horse? Is it something else? And such. And it doesn't go through, or no one else really, at least on my feed, went through the understanding of what is really happening in these 2,000 emails, or at least these 2,000 threads of emails. And if you take a look at it, if you read some of them or most of them, you end up understanding that it's not like just the sex trafficking stuff is big, but it's not the main part of the content. It is the means to achieve the rest that is talked about in these emails, and these emails are only 2,000 of them, and we don't have anything else. Like, we only have a very small portion of what is available, or what will probably be available later, as in 5 to 10 years, because dumbasses just want to not release anything. But everyone is just stuck on the fact that yes, there was sex trafficking and that's it. But no, 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 no. Only on these 20,000 emails, I think we've seen corruption, obviously, with like mass surveillance, the extension of villages, as in killing the entire population of one space and holding the children for other activities. Government activities as well, corruption in the government to throw over or overthrow some of the in-place governments, make it look like it's not like them, but it's still them, and making it look like the person that got overthrown is not in the government anymore, even though they still are. So yeah, like the entire thing in just 20,000 content email in these threads is already massive. and people are just like, no, they're just there. They're just like, this is the most important thing. Anyways, it's a very good, um, it's a very good UI. I'm not gonna lie on this one. They've done a really good job. It is not really complex to duplicate Gmail because it's one of the most uh, used stuff. So, we like it. One of the things that I've seen as well, which is not necessarily important, but whatever. These, the fact that they have blacked out a lot of emails, there is a lot in all of the existing emails that we have. There is a lot of times, specifically when the thread is long, where the recipient and non-recipient is getting their email blacked out in 99% of the emails, but then there is like 2% or 1% that is just not blacked out because someone messed it up. And so we know who's who, and we have the data in all of these already. So I don't understand why it's just like blacked out when most of the time there is a version somewhere in one of the things that is just like wrongly redacted. So you end up with visual stuff. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, pretty cool. You know what I mean. Pretty cool as a concept. And Stony, if it works for you, it works. Like that's, you know, that's good. That's fine. It's not great, but that's fine. I mean, this is pissing me off from the things of earlier, right? Uh, the fact that I'm seeing the title of the movie twice. Why? Why is that the case? I understand that sometimes the title is at the bottom, sometimes the title is in a different language. I get it, but goddamn, that looks like shit though. Like here, I get it, right? But you can't have like a system that just check and based on where the text is, it changes the things. But yeah, um, eh, nonetheless. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. I Yeah. Sorry. uh, yeah, that's blacked out, all right. There's one red thing. God damn. Anyways, I'm also thinking that based on the fact that my own inbox is filled with spam and other things, the amount of emails that are in these emails are also a lot of spam, a lot of things that have nothing to do with the investigations or anything else. It's just there. Oh, that's so shit. Sorry, that's bad. That's a bad thought. God, I'm so sad. So yeah, But yeah, that is a small derail. I agree. Doesn't matter, but yeah. It's good though. I've seen a lot of people do similar things, not with the Gmail and environment, but mostly AI scraping things that have the ability to just read the entirety of the emails, and then you can ask questions and so on. The only thing that I don't like about this is that it is still generative AI based on that, based on what we're currently using and creating, and therefore you can make it say whatever the fuck you want. Like if you are insistent in your questioning, the AI will tell you exactly what you want to see. So that's not good. If it was just a search or a good fuzzy search for the entire thing, that would be a better option, but it's not. So that's never gonna work as a font. See, that's the one that we used for uh, Wabi. Wabi is using something very similar to this, and this is not good. It stands out, but it's not good. Like, it's not giving you journaling environment. Um, I think if I go with the classic journaling aesthetic of Pinterest, I'm gonna find the fonts that I'm looking for. Like, I'm looking for fonts that are looking like this, not like this. This is great. I love that, but no one can read this. No one. Americans. Um, so attempting not to do that. Not that. Fuck. If only. If only people were just like not giving me ads all the fucking time. I'd be happier. Yeah. I was about to click on this thing, which is an ad again. Like, that's fine, but it's also broken. So, not gonna happen. I'd love to. I'd love to have this. Makes so much more sense. Going back to the discussion we had at the beginning of the stream related to the sentiment or the brain condition of the person that is journaling their perfume collection. There was an option for me to get the sentiment of the journaling at some point, and it could impact the UI in order to make sure that you have something that is distinctive. Um, I mean, have fun. Something that is distinctive so that the user can just load the view and say, oh yeah, 100%, like this is a perfume that I like or perfume that I don't like simply by loading that, right? Right now, for example, Buveur de Vent, which is one of the perfume that I have in my collection, is really green. It has all these particles. It has this amount of tan or sand here and there, so that it's interesting, but it's not necessarily good. And all of that doesn't really tell me if it is a perfume that I like or if it's not a perfume that I like just yet. So there is a need for something in there. Right now it's at 3 out of 5, which is one of the rating that I give it. But there is a need in here for me to just know maybe the rating could be around here and hidden somewhere in there. Like if I'm opening, it's just hidden. If I'm not opening, it's not hidden. You know, like that type of thing. But yeah, what was the perfume in question? Do you remember the name? We've been talking about um oh yeah, right there. And no, you haven't smelled it here. Um but yes, the bottle here looks gold and the perfume itself is green. Um it doesn't really look like anything, but it is green. It's not gonna focus on that. Yeah, it's kind of green. So it's neat. I guess this bag from the November bag, which is this, is the most colorful that I've had. I have like a violet one right here, a green one, some embers, some clear, and there was a pink as well, but it's finished already. So, but yeah, no, this one is pretty cool. It has good notes, at least for me. The cinnamon is pretty nice, and the fact that it has the dark chocolate, it it's it's good. However, however, I was a bit disappointed. Um, I do like that font though. At the end of the day, I just gave it like a 3 out of 5 on my rating scales, just because it it's good, but it's also like not that impressive compared to others. Like this one, as I said, the first impression was just like honey with a, a woody chocolate in the background, which is interesting. But yeah. And then at the end of the day, um, it kind of died off really, really fast. So kind of sad. I do like it though. I like the bottle, and all of these are the three from Nazomato that I have. I have another one that is not in the database that I need to add to the app, and I'm waiting. I am waiting. But yeah, it's a nice one. It's a nice one. That's also the vibe that a lot of girlies on TikTok have. And I think I do have this. Let me freeze for a second. Um, yeah, these bitches are amazing. How much do I have? Is it safe? Kinda. Yeah, fine. So things, I see. These are basically the presentation type that I'm seeing on TikTok and other platforms for perfumes, and depends on the person. Obviously, with that person that I'm currently cycling through has a very specific aesthetic when they are creating their presentation and posting that as a image on TikTok as a post. It's really good. It's using the thing that I have, which is like having the bottle as a sticker, and then just playing with things, presenting them with nice colors and other elements that are just then created as stickers again. So my initial idea of having the ability to place stickers all over the place is a good thing, but it's also extremely complex to achieve such a nice looking rendering on device and let the user have the hand on all of that. Like this is really, really good. I saved like a ton of them just because they are really neat. and that's me. But yeah, most of these presentations, the thing that they have is that they are not presenting the bottle itself, which is pretty interesting to me. They're presenting the sample when they have samples, and they're presenting the bottle when they have a bottle. So that implies in my head that they are using the actual samples as a photo of their sample collection. And when they have a bottle, they might take the picture themselves, but there is a high probability of them just finding the picture somewhere else and then using that. Nonetheless, this whole presentation is really cute. It has the name at the top, the description at the bottom, the vibe in the center. And so, what I'm currently trying to do or trying to achieve in the presentation section right there is not the same. Like, I can't really have the same thing, but I feel like it's kind of similar in vibes to get the notes, the profile, and the bottle as a sticker living in there, and then you can have the colored background if necessary. But yeah, the other options or the other thing that I wish I could do is going to be having the images as sub stickers or the images as additional background things. Like the woody background that I have here is kind of similar to some of the thing that I'm doing lately, which is just getting pictures for my backgrounds for the the stories of the day. Like if the perfume that I have is pineapple based, I'm going to use that. If the perfume that I have is plum based, I use this one. The card is going on top. It's not really like showing the plums themselves, but you can see the hints, you can see the leaves and so on. And that's pretty good. Like this one is really nice for lychee. Um, Same thing here. That makes sense. So all of that, is really easily to find and use, but then it implies so much stuff when it comes to like getting the information out of the perfume itself, finding the image on Unsplash, one that is not in the paid tier. And I'm guessing that if I want to use the API of Unsplash, I'm going to need to pay for API usage. So we'll see. We will see. But yeah, that is the current situation. I spent the whole day yesterday in trying to generate something that makes sense. And the light mode kind of looks good, but yeah. Also, that doesn't have the corners, but they still render the corners. That makes no sense. Anyways, so yeah, that vibe is something that I was potentially aiming for. I'm more of someone that would do this, but I don't think I would be able to, at least not in the beginning. Um, as stated, even though I kind of stopped doing the images stuff lately. No, not you. Um, Let me go into here. No, there, maybe. Like these ones, for example. This one is not gonna help. These. Jonathan, welcome on in. Welcome back. How are you? How's the midday? Kinda. Like this would be able, I would be able to potentially find stuff in other images that exist that would be like illustration based. I asked the person that I wanted to have as illustration for these things, and she hasn't replied yet. So if she replies, I'm gonna go with that. But yeah, I didn't know that. I was surprised when I saw these. I didn't know that the macadamia nuts have a slit in the center to open them. But that's not something that I knew. So, yeah. Also, that's so sad. The remove background from Figma just doesn't really do a great job. At times, we end up with like messy stuff. Like this is supposed to be pure white, but no. No. What did you have for lunch? Hmm? Also, waiting for my fridge is such a good excuse to get free food at the brother's house. I get it. I get it. I mean, I agree. If you just drop it, yeah, but I don't have a fridge, so I don't have food, you know? So I mean, I need to come to your house to get like the free food. I don't have a choice. I get it. I get it. We don't have a fridge. That's true. We don't have a fridge in the appliances. However, I don't know how I would represent a fridge if I'm not going with the same thing as the furniture, um, like where you had furnitures, like the double, yeah, one of these. That would be a fridge. Hmm? Hmm? I've seen something uh, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Speaking of potatoes, basically the recipe was you boil your potatoes with the skin on, and then once they are cooked, you cut them in half. You scoop out the inside, but not too much, right? Yeah, that these are closets. You scoop out the inside and you leave like a 5 millimeters of potatoes on the edges, right? And then what you scooped out, you use that to do mashed potatoes. And the skin with a bit of flesh inside, you deep fry them so that you can fill them up with whatever filling you want. And what they had was like some sort of chilies situation. So beef and beans and tomato sauce and cheese. And I'm fat already. Like just by talking about it, I'm like, yeah, I would eat 16 of these. No, no questions. I, I would. I would. But yeah, it was like a very, very good uh, potatoes recipe. There is one, I don't think, yeah, these bitch as well. I I'm in need of trying these out. I'm just not able to do that on my own. But yeah, she's doing a ton of potato recipes. I mean, everything on her page is potato based. And yeah, it's just making you hungry. That's what it is. Look at that. Hungry. This one is a oven baked, but it's basically the same concept. The one that I saw was basically the same thing, but like fried instead. Goddamn. I mean, I would eat the entire thing 16 times, no, no questions, no questions. Um, yeah, that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. I don't really see potato only related content on YouTube. Um, there is. There is like nowadays, basically all of these people have migrated to YouTube as well. So they have like four recipes, longer stuff, and so on. Um, all of that makes sense. But the type of content they have is much different than the type of content that we have on TikTok. And the good thing, with hair quotes for 2,000 miles, the good thing about TikTok is just like you have the information in a small amount of time. Like the potato recipe that is right here was roughly a 2 minutes to 3 minutes video at most. And yeah, I'm not okay. I I I hate it because I'm hungry all the time, and then I just want to eat all the time. That's not good. That is not good. I can't be eating all the time. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. But yeah, goddamn. Hmm. Everything potato is also like really bad. There's so many. Like again, there is so many people that are doing everything garlic, everything pasta, everything potatoes, everything butter, everything vanilla, and um, it is so bad. I I'm seeing things like this, and I'm like, I'm gonna go buy some fries right after the streams. Like I don't have a there is no questions. I have no choice. I have no choice. I'm also in a very, very, very hard deficit today, so I can afford the fries for the macros. But like that's the type of shit that I'm like, hmm. I forgot if it's like, yeah, that's probably not the case. But like this one, for example, is one that or like the feed is some of the thing that I've seen most of the times, and I can recognize like their whole feed and so on. They're good, and it's just like, goddamn. Some of them are really. I mean, it's too much work already. Like I don't have the time, nor do I have the patience to do that. But then I see this, and I'm like, yes, 100%. Give me this. Give me gnocchis. Yes, no questions. 100%. All the time, all days, every day. Yes. And some of the good things also, like kind of, you know, um, good thing. Uh, uh, I think that's the thing. Yeah, that bitch ass is on my feed all the time, and it's jalapeno smash burger um, with a good sauce inside. And overall, what happens for me is that I'm getting this in my feed, and then I go to my regular burger place, and I tell them this is the current thing that is kind of hyped. You might want to try it out and put it on the menu. And then they try it out, and I try it out. That's the thing. This one is kind of that person specifically has been doing a ton of smash burger experiments, and a lot of people are doing different versions, different variations of it. You know, what is interesting to me is the fucking jalapenos for the heat, because that's good. But yeah, right now I have a bit of an issue on one of my teeth, so eating is complicated, which is really sad. But yeah. God damn. That's also one of the reasons why I wouldn't be able to be in the US. I would be so fat. No shame. But goddamn. Goddamn. Anyways, back to this. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that I would probably go for at some point in terms of illustration. I want to have, um, I want to have brain. I want to have my brain to work, but no, that's not the case. Obviously, I I want to have Kaz do the illustrations. I talked about that before, but I mean, she's not responding, so. Mm. But yeah, like most of the illustration type that she has, and most of the style that we've seen before for things is so like aligned with what I have in my head, and so in clash with what is in the app, that it would make so much more sense to have this because it stand out so much as stickers. So that's the plan. At least that's the plan for me. If I have As be able to, create these illustrations for me is going to be pretty good. The issue again is the fact that overall there is 4,000 things to create, and I don't know how much she wants to charge for 4,000 images, but that could be good. I could just fund her entire college. Yeah, for the past, also, Kat, to answer to your previous message, for the past few months, I guess now, I'm going to the burger place to get fries, but not burgers. I know. I know. Um, but yeah, no, I'm going to the burger place to get some fries and fried chicken and no burgers, just because it makes me feel better the next day. Not in the psychologically speaking or in my head, but just like I feel like shit the next day if I eat one of the burgers that I love. So yeah, uh, yeah, same thing. So that's basically what I do now. I go there, I take two fries and one side of like fried chicken, and we good. Like it's fine. Like one 8 piece, two fries. It sounds as if there was two people waiting for me, and we don't eat much. But yeah, like that's the thing. Last time that happened, also that's kind of fun. Um, Apparently the and I really don't understand. The burger place that I go to decided that now that the sun is setting earlier, they are going to open later. So they used to open at 6:30, and now that the sunset way faster, they decided that opening at 7:30 was a good idea. And the thing that happens many times is that I want a burger at like 6 something. So I go there, it's closed, I go somewhere else. And it's been, I would say, months where I used to go there almost every week. And now I don't go there just because they never open. Like they are never open when I have a burger craving. Really sad. That is really sad for them. Also, some of the staff that was um, there before is not there anymore, so that's kind of sad. Doesn't help, but yeah, yeah, I think that's fine. I have issues with the. I'm, s- I'm so sad about it. The burger place that is here has good-ish chicken nuggets and pretty good fries. The burger place that is here has pretty good fries and good-ish chicken nuggets as well. The difference is that this one is chicken for sure, and this one is chicken nuggets, as in basically blended chicken and so on. Not necessarily you don't know what's in it. The other one is basically pieces of chicken fried. So technically speaking, this one is winning, but the breading is not as good as this one. So every time I'm torn, I don't know if I'm going on a regular piece or another piece or so on. And the sad news is that in between these two burger places, or technically not necessarily in between, but like roughly in between, right there, which is not in between, but roughly, there is a third one that just do good fries, not great fries, but good fries and good chicken nuggets. And the breading is nice. And they do cookies and their burgers are bad. And they were good when they opened, and now they're really bad. And I'm so sad about it because it was nice to have like a very good smash burger place. And now that they have had so much popularities, I don't think they take any. Um, you haven't been there. Basically, the one where we sat outside, um, the second time that you came here, the the same street, like a bit on the right. We never went in that direction, I think. So you don't know. You don't know. But yeah, not the one that is very close to my flat just behind on the other side. On the other side. But yeah, that's a sad part of things. Like it's really sad that that burger place was really changed. Every fucking places that I go to, I think I talked about that before. Um, that's true. That's true. This place used to be amazing. And this place used to be a food truck. So it used to be something that was on a truck at specific locations for a very limited amount of time because they didn't have a very like big amount of content. And that was so good. They had the best fries in Paris for when I was there. The meat was amazing. Their sides were great. Their desserts were really good as well. And they were not that expensive. Inflation, whatever, and so on doesn't really matter. They decided the success of the food trucks, like the single food truck in the first place, they decided to expand it, have a second food truck somewhere else. And it was so good and it was so nice that people wanted more. So, because of their success, they decided to open physical shops. And it was good. And then, after 6 months, they changed the way that they made the fries. And after 2 years, they changed some of the beef cuts that they had. And then they changed the desserts and they changed the things. And now it is shit. And I'm so sad about it because it was so good. And I was one of the first, the people that were like supporting them basically when they were like just the two of them. And now it's just profit, 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 and that's it. I'm so sad about it. Um, yeah. I mean, I'm in the center as well, so I have everything around, but most of the thing that are around and good, uh, that's kind of not the that's not what happens. What I'm seeing as well is the fact that a lot of places that are good, as in healthy and good for my health and good for my taste buds as well, the staff is shit. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but for me at least, in a lot of locations in the center of cities, if the thing is supposed to be good for you, there is something where maybe that's French, I don't know, but there's something where the staff is not as friendly as the fast food, the one that are not good for you. It's still like they are friendly. They are here to make you come back. You have a nice time. You have a chat. You come back the next week. They know your name. The type of situation like this, and that's so sad. Like there is one place that is good, that is sports related, healthy related. The food is nice, but then the staff became less and less friendly the more time passed. It's been years now. Like I've been going there since they opened the first day, so they know me. I have my name in the shop. It's written in one of the walls. So yeah, it's it's like they changed so much staff wise that all of the people that were really good are just now out of it, and it's not as good. It's not as good anymore. So yeah, yeah, it's kind of weird. I have the same thing, Jonathan. Like basically the burger place that I go to, um, the manager owner of the shop now knows my name. She knows my phone number by heart by typing it on the fucking display. Uh, some of them, not all of them, but some of them know exactly that I like to get the pink bags because the pink bags have um, handles, handles, whatever. And like that's the burger place. The sports place used to know me by name and so on, but one of the co-owner decided to leave France. And since then, basically everything went down, and I'm only seeing one of the three owners of the beginning in the shop most of the time. I think the second one is like either doing business stuff at the office, but not in the shop, which is kind of sad. But they are not like as friendly, and the staff that used to be there was really friendly, and now it's not there. So it's just like newcomers. Pretty sad. Same thing, like the bakery that is downstairs for me is like they know me. We have chats. Sometimes I take space for the client that owns the store. Like we are just chatting, and clients are just waiting. That happens, but yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I do. I do. I chat a lot. I chat a lot, which is kind of weird because I'm chatting in French. So that throw me off most of the times. Yeah. I try to do that, by the way, that small story derail of myself. 2 weeks ago? Yes, 2 weeks ago. I had I had a call from a number that I don't know, right? And my usual thing is I pick up, I mute myself, and I put them on speaker, and I wait for them to announce themselves. Like just state your business, and I'll see if I answer. But that never happens. So basically, they hang up, and then they called back, And I did the same thing. They did nothing. And then for some reason, they called back again a third time in one day, which is kind of crazy. So I answered, but I answered in English. And then at some point, I just said, well, I don't speak French. So I don't know what you're saying right now. And then the girl on the other side was like, kind of, oh, so you don't speak, okay. Uh, you don't speak French, and then she hung up. It's just like they have no fucking clue how to speak English. It's crazy. It's pretty interesting. It is pretty interesting. I do like to do that though. But yeah, now I'm doing that. Now when I'm having like a new phone number that I don't know. It's just calling me on a date and I'm not waiting for a phone call. I'm just stating, this is Hayes Assistance. What's your business? And I'm doing that in English so that they're like, okay, that's weird. And therefore, when I'm switching from English to French, the voice are different enough. So I pass for the assistant and they don't pass the assistant most of the time. It's just like, oh yeah, all right. Have a good day. Yeah, that's that's good, but you can just speak uh, English. Like that's fine. They don't know. They don't have a fucking clue how to speak English. Like again, the amount of time that I have, the people that are stopping you in the street for signatures and so on, and I'm just answering to them in English. The first thing that is kind of weird is because I'm someone that has earbuds and I'm picking one off. They are like delighted that I have taken off an earbud to be able to speak to them because they, their quota and so on. And then I start speaking English and I'm like, yes, what? I'm like, oh no, I'm on vacation. And that crushed them and it's really fun. And every time it's just like, oh, well, have a good vacation. Sorry, with the accent, have a good vacation. Enjoy Paris. It's really nice. It is really nice. Um, I do take the earbuds off. I mean, the most useful thing, the one that was really good was the guys, which were Asian, came to me with a book, and the book was the Bible. Guess what? And they basically started to do um, in French. We are a group of people that read some passage of the Bible. So we would love to read one for you if you are interested, and in French, obviously. And I basically looked and nodded, and then when he had to ask the question of if I was interested, I said, "I'm sorry, I don't speak French." And he wasn't really aware of what could happen at that point. No real no real reaction. So that was fun. That was really fun. I think I did I'm late for something. It's usually when I have like ice creams or hot stuff in my bag. I'm just like, I have hot stuff. Like, shut up. Or I have ice cream. It's hot outside. I'm not staying out. So yeah, you can start speaking Italian. Frulin. Free. Yeah, that language. Frulin. I could start speaking Japanese, but that wouldn't match. Like that would make sure Like, and make it obvious that I'm doing that for the reason of avoiding them. If I was looking like me and started speaking Japanese, not the thing. And yes, Google is free. Uh, I mean, it is Frulian. I think in my head it's Frulian in French, but like free, that fucking R is weird. Um, yeah, no, I don't speak French with a very strong accent. Um, Friulian is a dialect of Italy, kinda. One of the small islands slash portion of Italy, uh, or in that region. So it is kind of similar things. That's her first language. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's located in that department. It is. Yeah. Dang. That's the thing. Top North. Yeah. I mean, if you have the French and you have the understanding of French to an extent, right? And you know, you can read it and understand it and you take it that in, that should be a pretty easy switch. It is, right? It's very similar. So to me, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, we have so many words that are the same, but pronounced differently, but the same overall. That, yeah. So yeah, that's also a thing. If you like the fucked up grammar of French, that might be good. Bitch, die. Sorry. Not mosquitoes, but mosquitoes. But yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. Kat, you're late if you're streaming. I'm looking for someone to raid. That's the reason. That is the reason. I can't raid you right away because that would basically uh, throw you off. And then be live? Hmm. Hmm. Oh yeah. We can do that. We can do that. That's a good idea. That is a good idea. The stream is unstable. I am unstable, the usual. And yeah, that's gonna work. That is gonna work. Well, Cat, I'm not rating you, so sad. But yeah, sending you there. Um, Good. Well, have fun yapping, and I'm gonna see if I can get some fries. That's what's happening. That's it. That's it. That's all that happens. As always, if you want to watch the VOD for some reason, that's gonna be on YouTube. Um, as always, if you want to ask a question when I'm not live, the usual is Discord. That's a pretty good thing. If you want to stalk me online, that's on the socials. And if you want to come back here to ask a question when I'm live, that is going to be on Monday at 4:20. As always, and as a quick reminder, next week is the last week before the break. After that, I don't know how long that's going to be, but December is probably a no stream December, like last year, the year before. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how things happens, and yeah, next week, last week. That's the thing. As always, if you want to learn Japanese, Japanese is good around here. And if you want to buy something from me, yeah, that's the place. But yeah, as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Eat something, drink something, be kind to each other. Cat, you won. Congrats, Tony. You're so close. Anyways, bye.